sprint today, which seemed incident-free as the car ran well.
Yeah, we had a solid sprint quali yesterday, a solid race today. I felt like we had a bit of extra pace, maybe compared to the field, but it was flying in second one and three, and we couldn't pass. But anyway.
So with the race not far away from starting,
Proving again that whenever nothing happens to us, we are actually quite solid. We are quite quick, and yeah, we just need to be working on having this kind of feeling with us.
He probably did think he could get Esteban, didn't he, in the race? But I mean, you know, decent. It was reward for a good qualifying yesterday.
It was. I don't know why he would have estimated that he could definitely have him. It's never a given. But it's definitely positive momentum for Carlos. He's had a tough start to the season. I think everybody really expected him to come into Williams and put, in some ways, Alex in his place, and that hasn't been the case at all. I mean, Alex is a very respected driver, but the feeling was that Carlos was going to come in there and sort of take over and be the number one driver, and it's really not been the case. And I think he needs this kind of positive momentum and start to put the dots together. But we saw something similar from him when he did move to Ferrari. You know, his first year there, it took him some time to get up to grips, and it takes him some time to adapt. But it feels like he might be coming into his stride a bit.
Yeah, his first point since Canada. It was a decent morning for him today.
Yeah, definitely, and as you said, very much needed. Because we also underestimate that he was the race-winning hero at Ferrari, mostly on a par with Leclerc, and then this step back now for him to Williams, it's tough for him to stomach that, and then to have a rough start to the season, Albon being the better performing driver, really difficult mentally, so he really needs these positive results.
Bit of a rebuild for his career. Okay, let's hear from the McLaren drivers now, starting with Oscar Piastri.
The start obviously is going to be your key to how things unfold. Any thoughts? Was it much more difficult once you had that position that you really thought to put back under Steven's place?
It was in some ways, but I mean, I knew that he had a lot of straight line speed, and last year we saw here that following was very tough, even if you felt you were quicker. So it wasn't a massive surprise. It was obviously a bit frustrating, but I was braced for a race to look like that.
So Nigel, compared to maybe yesterday, you've got to be quite pleased with how you performed.
I wasn't disappointed.
No. Have you gained ground those sort of starting points today? Have you made progress today that you sense and can have?
I mean, I was
and
there
alongside me in the commentary.
Go together and
so no, I wasn't worried at all.
Okay, radio check, radio check.
Radio check.
Worried about anything either, so I was confident if I went out again and did make the changes that I could. Fine. But the race where it was a better race car, wasn't a fast car, so I didn't make yeah, I think I did yesterday, and of course, it was to be higher, but it was disappointed. It was better, so yeah, I thought I could do some today.
He's now 9 points behind in the class. Oscar has been himself up for the last few sprints so far in the 5 now. So, he is behind the driver. What can you do to switch the mindset of Holland after what's been a sort of a dash? I'm not sure if it comes down.
Well, I didn't know. It was very unusual. The rhythm of the break to that is modified. Driving quite slowly, heavy car, full fuel, full tire, and now you go out there again without backfill, and you bring out the full fuel, big shock to the system there, and it really takes a lot of adaptation and adaptation. I remember we yesterday, on the second, it's a real challenge, but it's nice to hear that Lando actually got a chance for the it looks like a different confidence. This is a great defensive game.
Makes it, to be honest, and I think I'm not expecting I'm surprised that it's actually the same one. He's making responses, he should go really think go back to today and do the day, but at the end of the day,
hyperventilating teammate, and every time he's out, he's expected to go forward. You don't hyperventilate him already, like his teammates will say with him, and his teammates already expect. So there's no way that yesterday with 6
ये मजाक नहीं चल रहा है यूकी सुनोड़ा वेस्टैपन से आगे
but it's good to
it can only be in the scenario when Verstappen has crashed his car or Verstappen is out for his baby.
I decided I've got one fault here for
You're right. But at the same time, I know these guys slowly on purpose. But that's like business. So then in 17 seconds, you might end up fourth or whatever. So you can't, you still have to go pedal to the metal flat out. And yeah, I mean, you still want to be first anyways. But also the rain is coming. The rain is coming, you just don't know what's going to happen.
I mean, there is a lot to consider going into quali this afternoon. Not long to wait for that. We've got to sprint over up next and quali at 2 o'clock here in Spa. We're for the power cover. It is still warm. We've got time for a quick commentary in the South Open. See you at 2 o'clock. Bye for now.
So it's 5 years. It starts with a spot. And right to that. Faster. It's waiting.
आज की स्प्रिंट के बाद किसका मूड कैसे कैसे है मेरा तो बहुत बेकार मूड हो रहा है
Scum off, stood up its and even let it fall spoke in your life. It's formula
Ian Wilson, he was quite today about after just 2 races of the 2025 Formula One season. The New Zealander, who was chosen over his Japanese counterpart, Nico Sackensy beside Max Verstappen for this year, was struggled in the first couple of Grand Prix. In Melbourne, he failed to make it out of the first qualifying session, and then crashed out of the rain-affected race. And in Shanghai, he was once again left wanting in his qualification attempts, lining up 20th and last for the Chinese Grand Prix. He finished P12, but only after a few post-race suspensions from tournament. 2 subpar depends.
Okay, mate, this is the final lap of the race. Final lap.
Welcome to Sprint Race Notebook from the 2025 Belgian Grand Prix, the first of 3 notebooks this weekend. We're going to do a quick one now, just 15 minutes, so I'm going to rattle through what happened in the Sprint Race. Then we have another notebook after Grand Prix qualifying, and of course the Sunday notebook after the Belgian Grand Prix 2025. So, they might well be asking in the briefing room and the office up here at Rebel Racing, Christian who? Because for the first time in 20 years, they don't have Christian Warner at the position of team principal, and they won the first race. The new manager bounce, or whatever they call it, the football, but they have won. The Belgian Grand Prix, which race, second home race after Campbell, offered the best possible start. Because it didn't look like it was going to challenge after taking the lead at the beginning. It was pole position, but it was predictable level running at point 1 that he was going to draft past Oscar Piastri on lap 1 on the Pebble Straight. Did it brilliantly. I don't think Oscar was really challenging it too hard. Some people say I think McLaren was certainly expecting it, but it was just.
Fantastic job, guys. Fantastic.
Set the car up so that it was quick enough in the middle sector, even with the extra downforce that the McLaren had, that Max wasn't vulnerable to Piastri.
And as we've said so many times in the past, the checkered flag is out for our winner, Lewis Hamilton.
It was a joy to watch today, honestly, because the driver was clearly able to read the conditions well on track, to use the information properly from the team, and usually come up with the right solution at the right time.
New era starts with a win, so well done to Lauren.
It's time for our podium celebrations, and as ever in Formula One, 3 is the magic number. And back on the top spots that he's taken so often in the past. So well done to Lewis Hamilton.
At the end of the straight, and they were. Oscar Piastri covered the inside line, but Max had to run with the overspeed, and he drafted the McLaren down to their on over to the straight, and really, as I said, he was able to keep significantly far ahead across the middle sector. Tyres started to go off a bit. Yes, he was struggling with the pace, struggling a bit at the Miami sprint, but it wasn't enough to give the McLaren a chance. Now listen, there's an open question as to whether sprint races really work on these long circuits where you get one pass early on, and then like Miami, nothing else happens. I mean, like Miami, Oscar got the place back from Max, and then we got a few more passes. But everybody else seemingly was set in a DRS train today. Only a couple of people actually moved up their positions. Max Verstappen was one, Kimi Antonelli was the other, Lance Stroll was the other. So there were not many people who actually made up positions in the sprint race. I'm not sure the sprint really works. Sprint racing really works around Spa. I'm shocked at your other ideas and what ideas you have. Formula One will have their own ideas. So As for Yuki Tsunoda, just to finish up Red Bull, he had really tired raining, but he held off George Russell, and so a better weekend, finished 11th. Doesn't have the floor upgrade that Max Verstappen has, but has some of the other bits, and it meant that he could at least finish at 11th with a bit more optimism for tomorrow. Two Frenchmen, by the way. I'm going to get to the saxophones, don't worry, Pete, I know you're interested in saxophones. Two Frenchmen now in the top two jobs of Red Bull Racing, which was Laura Mickens and Pierre Vachon, team principal and technical director. So it really is a new broom after Horner and Huey. That chapter is well and truly closed. It's got a bit more European, but a team still in transition. A little bit of movement going on. We're hearing lots of stories, and I'll deal with this a bit later when I've got more time. We've already got 5 minutes, and I've got nothing left. In the qualifying notebook, lots of Horner loyalists set to leave the team. Lots of people not knowing what's going on at Red Bull. So we are seeing a change ahead, turmoil if you want to call it like that. But they've got their way a new chapter off to the best possible start. Now, did you know that Adolphe Sax, who lived in Dinan, which is not too far from where we are, Spa-Francorchamps, invented the saxophone, of course, his name was Sax, he invented the saxophone in 1840s. And these giant saxophones are brought to you by the International Adolphe Sax Association of the town of Dinan, the birthplace of the inventor of this instrument. Come and enjoy the rest of Art on Sax collection in Dinan, province of Namur in Belgium. Yes, we will. Look, the other Belgian things. Sure, Tintin's up here somewhere. But, lots of characters, and of course that is the thing outside Brussels. Experience, so something like that. Right, let's do McLaren as we walk down into the lower paddock, because they got outfoxed, outraced, outdragged, all of those things. What did they do about it? It's very difficult to know. Oscar Piastri said, well, look, we could take off some downforce, but then that's going to compromise us in the race. The team boss, Andrea Stella, was saying, we've considered that maybe second would be a good place to start. Here is the mullet, the golden mullet himself, Valtteri Victor Bottas. Hello, Valtteri. You're right. And so what do? McLaren can only hope that if they run the same wing level, Oscar Piastri was saying the car feels fantastic in qualifying, that they will be able to get Verstappen on that lower wing level through tyre wear, through strategy. But if they just do the same things, might the same thing happen tomorrow? So real quandary between now and Grand Prix qualifying, after which they can't change the car, for McLaren. What do they do with their wing level? Oscar did all he could, but was defenceless on that one to Max Verstappen. Knew it was coming, didn't fight it too much. Lando Norris also lost the P3 to Leclerc on the straight, but retook it on lap 4. And having been passed by Charles Leclerc, Lando retook P3 and finished in P3. Oscar maybe we need some tweaks, but just not enough straight line speed. So we'll see what they happen, because obviously they're losing in the middle sector as well, as I explained. Right, have you made the trip down the stairs? The stairs of caution, I think you have. And lots of things have changed. They've spruced up the paddock a little bit, but the stairs of caution, otherwise known as the invent your own way, continue. And when it was wet the other day, they were indeed treacherous. And I think these sort of anti-slip things have outlived their useful life. So Spa-Francorchamps, maybe some anti-slip might be useful there. I also have the details as to why there was the screen in Silverstone, but again, I don't have time to put some screen right out. I'll talk about it now. I'll talk about it in the next notebook. Let's do Ferrari, because suitably enough, there are some helmets of some Ferrari legends. Jackie Ickx, with probably the best helmet design that I can remember. The brilliant one, especially when he used to have his amazing eyes through it. Nigel Mansell, Il Leone, that's not a Ferrari helmet, but it is one. And this is, of course, the Hamilton Ferrari helmet in here. And we've got an absolutely beautiful Jackie Ickx Ferrari interior, from the Ickx era, and signed at the front. Oh, lovely. Let's do Ferrari, shall we? As a Belgian Grand Prix sign. Oh, wow, get out there, oh. And with associated security guard, thank you, and good. Look after that, it's priceless. Okay, good. Here is the Ferrari fewer, it's Antonio Giovinazzi, and okay today, but not great if you call Lewis Hamilton, because it's 15th for Lewis Hamilton, but 4th for Leclerc. Leclerc didn't make up any places like most other people didn't. Leclerc got past Lando Norris at the start, Lewis with no rear grip, and Leclerc was told on the radio, we're just trying to learn from this. Lewis with a big reset.
After an event like that, who knows what the sport has in store for us next time out? Be sure to join us once again as we continue.
But that was our mistake, the mistake of the rear locking qualifying yesterday. Wasn't able to make up many places and stuck in the DRS train as Hamilton was, but a big reset for him needed. Right, done plan, done for Ferrari, done Red Bull. Let's do